Thank everybody for the amazing support to this initiative. Women at EUPSA that was started during the summer, right after the past EUPSA meeting. We have over 200 members registered from all over the world. And this is our, our first webinar. And we are so very happy and proud and thankful that Professor Giovanna Riccipetitoni has agreed to give the opening talk in our webinar. We had over 200 registers for this webinar as well. And as we can see in the chat, we have people from all over the world: Slovakia, Turkey, Armenia, Spain, Vienna, Cyprus, Germany. Well, it's fantastic response. So we are really, really thrilled and really happy about this, and really tells us that this kind of initiative was needed. So after saying that, I would like to give a brief introduction to our invited guest, Professor Giovanna Riccipetitoni, who, well, was not only the first president at the EUPSA, or the first female honorary secretary at the EUPSA, but she was also the first head of the department in Italy at the age of 40. No pressure, girls. And she was also the first female head of the department at the Busy Children in Milano. And she got retired from the clinical work 2020, but since then she has been acting as professor at the University of Pavia. And she's, as she mentioned in the beginning of this talk, she's more focused nowadays in teaching, tutoring, and transition program and research. So those have become her main areas of interest in the past year. So I'm not going to take more of your time, Giovanna, and me and Elke warmly welcome you to our first webinar. And as Gaia also said in the introductory talk, or the housekeeping rules, that everybody's mute, unfortunately, and we cannot see all your lovely faces, but please write your questions in the chat or the Q&A, and Elke and myself will be reading them after the end of Giovanna's talk. So with that said, Giovanna, warmly welcome to our first webinar.
Thank you very much, Carmen, for your very kind introduction. It's a great honor and a pleasure for me to hold the first webinar of WoEUPSA today, and I start immediately with my presentation. I hope you can see. Is it possible for you to see?
Not yet, but maybe it takes some seconds.
Strange. Just a minute. Just a minute. I will try again. Otherwise, I have also another computer. Okay, condividi. Just a minute.
Yes, now it's happening.
Coming up, yeah.
Could you see? I don't think so. I can see.
Not the presentation itself, but
yes.
now it starts coming. Yes, you can.
Now it's okay.
Yes, yeah. Perfect.
Now it's okay. So the topic of my presentation is women in surgery and in pediatric surgery, and I am very happy that today there are people, women surgeon colleagues from different countries in the world, not only from Europe, because we share some problems. And I think this problem go through all the world. So the idea to present this subject came to me when I was invited by Professor Zacharias to hold the lecture at the historical session, and so I thought that it could be nice to focus on this aspect. I have to say that also Boncha tweeted about women in surgery in Turkey. So both of us were very sensible to this argument. What is the aim of the presentation? The aim is to trace the evolution of the presence of women surgeons through history, to evaluate the impressive increase in female surgeons number and the flourishing of associations such as Women in Surgery, to analyze career difficulties, the limited number of top leader positions in academic and health system, and to identify possible operation tools. So if we go, quickly, so the history, the ancient era in 2700 before Christ, there were two important women surgeons. They teached gynecology at the medical school in Egypt, and they were married paths and pesce, and this is a picture who represent the interest that they have for mother and children. In the Greek and Roman era, women were very less lucky, were not so lucky. They had the opportunity to practice their art just if they were wives or doctor of doctors. One example was Panacea, who was the doctor of Aesculapius, and she was allowed to perform his activity, and the main activity was midwife. That means to take care of pregnant women. Another wife was Aniodice. She was the first midwife in Athens. During the Middle Age, Christianity allowed greater autonomy for female doctors, but they were mainly sent. They were made sisters, such as Saint Theodosia, Saint Nicerata, but the most famous in Germany was Saint Walpurgis, an Anglo-Saxon woman who lived in Germany and who is represented always with a pot of urine or some bandage. That means that she has some medical knowledge at that time. But the most important, the most important role was made in the Middle Age by the Salerno School and by three women, Abella, Rebecca, Francesca, and Trottola de Ruggero. They were part of the Salerno School of Medicine, and they, Trottola de Ruggero wrote this important book on gynecology and pediatric care. And this book was De Mulieribus Passionibus Ante, in et postpartum, and remain a milestone for some centuries from after. During the Renaissance, the main interest was on medicinal herb, and I want to mention Caterina Sforza. I was born in front of her castle. She was the sister of Ludovico Sforza, the Prince of Milan. She was also a woman of war. She was very combatant, but she was famous because she discovered the chloroform. And even if she used the chloroform to kill some husbands, she has 4 husbands during her life, but she was a very interesting woman, and I invite you to read some book on Caterina Sforza. However, the Holy Inquisition branded many female doctors and surgeons as witches, and we consider that about 100,000 of them were sent to the stake. So a lot of women, doctor women or surgeon or women practicing some kind of medicine and surgery were killed during the Holy Inquisition. We have to move to the 18th century to discover some important doctor. At this period, is used to be called the surgeoness, because there was a famous a famous surgeon, Margaret Ann Bulkley. She was born in Ireland and she died in London. She was a surgeon of the Royal College during the Napoleonic War, so that means that she was a military surgeon, and to be allowed to exercise, to perform his professional activity, she took the name of a man, James Bury, and when she died, they discovered that she was a woman. She was also general inspector of the Canadian hospital, so she had really an important career as military surgeon. But we have to move in the USA to the to the middle of the 19th century, when the first woman was allowed to be graduated at the medical school in this country. It was Elizabeth Blackwell. She is also represented in this picture and also in her house. But always at the beginning of the 20th century, we had the first woman pediatric surgeon. She was Benji Brooks. She was born in 1918 at the end of the First World War. She was trained by Professor Gross, and she was the first pediatric surgeon in the USA and in Texas. She worked at the Houston St. Joseph Hospital. She was voluntary teacher at the university, and she founded a Benji Brooks Foundation with some parents, and doing chairs at the university for children care. And this was really a great job that she did at that time. She used to say, you can go as far as you push yourself. I can say that it was also not for my life, but I have to say also that the price that she has to pay, and also I can say I had to pay, was too high. So we have to work different now. We can go as we want, but we need to be supported, and we need to have more equity in our career, in our opportunity. So what happened in the USA in the 90s? So there were only 6% of women doctors, and in 1913 the first female surgeon was accepted at the American College of Surgeons. But if you look in more than 60 years, the number of female surgeons registered at the American College of Surgeons was very low, was less than 2%. But at the end of the 70s, we have something was changing. There was an increase in the number and in types of medical school. There was an education of mass education, and there was also the birth of women's movement, female women's worldwide. And also there was a recognition of Equal Opportunity Act. This happened in the USA, and this gave the opportunity to a famous general surgeon, Tricia Newman, to propose in 1981 the Association of Women Surgeons at the American College of Surgeons of the meeting of that year. In 1988, a recruitment campaign was promoted, but I have to say that just in 1991, the Association of Women Surgeons became well established. They have a mission. The mission was to promote professional growth and entry in the governing body of the scientific society. That means to give power to the woman. So this is very important. I always said that woman has to reach power. Otherwise, they can have equity. Aims was to inspire, encourage, enable female surgeons the realization of their professional and personal goals. Strategy were to introduce women surgeons to meet and interact each other, and this is a very important tool. Support individual values and diversity. This was another important aspect, and to refer to the highest standard of competence and ethics. The instruments were at that time the Pocket Mentor, and I have read this book. I was fascinated by this book, especially there are a lot of instruction about how to approach different problems. For example, how to manage a communication with your chief when you have to communicate that you are pregnant, when you have to communicate other problems. So it's really a very good instrument. And also other instrument videos who emphasize how it is nice to be woman surgeon. So, and this is very, I mean, I love it. Women are surgeon is a very nice video that invite you to visit it. So this is the society, and they try to engage current future women surgeons to realize their goals, they empower women to succeed, and they excel in those aspirations through mentorship, education, and network community. That are also some of the statements that WoEUPSA want to do. If we look to the statement, these statements were accepted by the American College of Surgeons, and the statement is on the importance of pregnancy and parental leave, and workplace accommodation for surgical residents and fellows. Revised the statement on the importance of lactation support for practicing surgeons, statement on bullying and discrimination, on partner violence, on gender salary equity and career equity. So all the statement can be part also of our statement. They have also an annual meeting which is very important. I invite you to take part to this meeting. This was one of the last meetings that was made in Florida. And but if we look to the women who reach a place in the important American association, so one of them was Tricia Newman. She was awarded by the American College of Surgeons. And this is Catherine Anderson. I had the opportunity to meet her in Boston at one of the last EUPSA meeting. She was chief of pediatric surgeon in Los Angeles, and she was president of EUPSA, and she was a really relevant personality. Another relevant personality that I have the opportunity to meet was Tricia Donnell. Tricia Donnell was chief of pediatric surgery at Massachusetts Children's Hospital in Boston. She is very famous for discovering the anti-Mullerian factor. So I was interested in DSD and neurology, and she really had an important role in this field. Another EUPSA president is Jessica Kandel. So some women has reached a very high position also in the American College of Surgeons and particularly in EUPSA. But if we move to Europe at the Royal College of Surgeons of England, also in UK, we have an association of women in surgery, WINS, and I want to mention two important pediatric surgeons. One of them is one of the pioneers of pediatric surgery, is Isabella Forscher. I had the opportunity to meet her when she was very old, because she died in 1989. She worked in Liverpool, and she was really one of the pioneers of our discipline. And the other one came from India. She was trained by Professor Wilkinson in Great Ormond Street, and she's Leela Kapila. She became chief of the department, professor of pediatric surgery in Sheffield, I think, and she was chair of the Royal College of Surgeons of England. So two different women, but very important women. But the association, the WINS in UK came from a consideration that the ratio of male to female consultant surgeon was very unfavorable for women, because there was a relation of 8:1. And so if we look how the situation has changed, yes, it's changed, but not enough, because we passed from 3% in 1991 to 63.3% in 2023, which is really not a big percentage. It's better, but it's still a limited percentage. So there is it remains a large gap between the number of women who go into training and those who became consultants in the UK. But also in Africa, female surgeons became part of the College of Surgeons of the East, Central, and Southern African countries, and they of COSECSA, and they founded the VISA. VISA is the Association of Female Surgeons of COSECSA. So that means that also in Africa, women surgeons try to have a more important role. And in Asia, I want to say that I want to mention Professor Suita. She was awarded at the EUPSA meeting in Milan as honorary member. She was the first full professor of pediatric surgery in Japan. In Japan, there are not a lot of professors of pediatric surgery. I want to mention associate professors that all of us know is Nana Nakazawa, but there are also other, but not a lot, not many, very few. And we know very well in India, Shilpa Sharma. She is chief of all Mother and All India Institute in Delhi. She is also WoEUPSA secretary and treasurer. She has been. And I want to mention also another woman surgeon that I met during my career, Tamina Banu. She is in Dhaka, and she is a fantastic woman, and she wrote this article, which is very interesting, Inspirational Women in Surgery. So what I want to say is that also in Asia, we have some important female pediatric surgeons, but they are not many. And also in South America, we have a female surgeon. This was a meeting that we had. This is Marcela Bairles, who was he's a friend of all of us, but she was also awarded by EUPSA. And if you look there, women, the Association of Women Surgeons, and also the South American Association are working with the Latino Surgical Society for training people as visiting professor. I found this advice on the web, but I think it was still important. Before we go to Europe, I will spend some more word on Claire Newell-Fekete was really a milestone. She was chief of pediatric surgery at Necker. She was president of the French Society. She was awarded by the French Academy, but she was awarded worldwide. She was awarded by EUPSA, by the WoEUPSA, by EUPSA, and she was really a fantastic surgeon and a very strong personality. Sabine Sanaki has taken his place at Necker. She was also president of the French Association. Gonca was president of the Turkish Association. She was honorary secretary and now is treasurer, and I hope she will be the next future EUPSA president. I support her very much. And if we go to Spain, I don't know this lady, this Marta de Diego Suarez. Yes, he is the actual president of the Spanish Association of Pediatric Surgery. Gloria Pelizzo, who came from my school, she has taken my place in Milan. She was president, she's past president of the Italian Society. Christian Burns, she's a fantastic researcher, president of the General Surgeon German Society, and Giovanna, I had the honor to become EUPSA president. But I want to spend some words about the French situation, because I think we have to work with the French colleague, because we had sometimes a lot of French colleagues in the past in the EUPSA, now not so many. And they have an important role in their country. Claire Newell-Fekete was, I spent time with her. She was fantastic for fetal and for antenatal diagnosis, fetal surgery, neonatal surgery, DSD, and a lot of things. And she also pushed a lot the role of female surgeon in the world. I was fascinated by her because she was in this picture she is already old, but she was really a beautiful woman, very cultivated, with a female elegant aspect, and I tried to learn from her, not only surgery, but how to manage as a chief, as a leader, but how to become an attractive woman. And this is very important, in my opinion, looking to diversity and looking to the characteristic that woman surgeon has, I mean to have. Sabine Sanaki is always at Necker, but we have Sabine Artan at Hôpital Tussaud, Sophie Bancherot at Bicêtre, Hélène Martelly is already retired, but she was in Bicêtre. Hélène Lehor, she is in a private hospital in Marseille, but she's head of the unit. Christine Graspen, she is a professor at Robert Debré. Marine Laurence Polymerol is in France. Florence Bastiani was professor in Nice. Nazika Dunlop, she used to come to all our meetings. She's chief of the American Hospital, private practice, but she's chief. And also we have in Geneva, Barbara Witt-Haber. She's chief in Geneva, Lausanne. We have Alessandra Benacchi. She is an obstetrician, but she was trained also as pediatric surgeon. And I want to mention for you Silvana Peretta. Silvana Peretta is a fantastic general surgeon. She was awarded with the Légion d'honneur, which is really very rare for a female surgeon. She was trained in the USA. She is the vice president of IRCAD in Strasbourg, and she is very strong in educational program and in supportive program. I had the opportunity to meet her, and she will be very happy to help also women in EUPSA and to support us in some way. In Germany, I had the opportunity to receive this number from Udo that I have to thank. He was the only one who gave me some number. So I wrote to him. I wrote also to Guanda Agustin, but I had no number about Spain. But in German, we have 90 units, and 19 of them have a woman as chief. So the incidence of chief of pediatric surgery in Germany is 21%. If we go to Italy, it's really worse. In Italy, we have 52% of the members of our society are female, but we have just only 6 chiefs of pediatric surgery. That means 5%. And 4 full professors. That the full professor, not many, are 12. So at the end, 33% of professors are female, but I mean, 4 of they have 4 of the 6. So that means that only 5% are head of the unit or head of the department. If we move to Austria, I will wait some number from Elke, maybe. I want to mention Gesina Menardi. Gesina Menardi was awarded as honorary member of German, Croatian, and Austrian Society of Pediatric Surgery. And there was another important pediatric surgeon, Irene Esch. Irene Esch was mainly a pediatric urologist. She was trained by Bob Jeff in Baltimore first. She went in Bern with Professor Betex, and then she went to Salzburg. I have to say that I was fascinated also by her when I was a young pediatric surgeon, a trainee, because she was, as Claire Fekete, a real leader. She had a very eminent personality, but mainly in pediatric urology, not really in the whole pediatric surgery field. There was Gesina Menardi. Gesina Menardi, this was written when she died in 2007. She was head of the Department of Pediatric Surgery in Innsbruck, but she worked the committees of EUPSA, WoEUPSA, WoEUPSA, and she did a great contribution to the development of Croatian, Germany, and Austrian Society of Pediatric Surgery, and she pushed a lot at the end of his career when she was already retired to establish a society of pediatric and adolescent surgery. So mainly on adolescent surgery at the end of her career. In Italy, we have a woman in surgery, a member obviously of this association. And if we look to the situation in Italy, this was the situation in the past. So we were 90% of women, only 1% in leading role. Now, as pediatric surgeon, we have reached the 5%, but it's really very, very low. And but these women in surgery in Italy has published a very nice book, which is the first report on women in surgery. It was published by the Society of General Surgery, and this was one of the conclusion that I would like to underline, that 55% of women surgeons believe that having had children has reduced their career opportunity compared to 60% of men. So what is strange is that also not having children, the gap will remain. So this is really terrible. And this was having children has influenced your professional path. If you look, yes, these are the women. And also, do you think to have been a victim of mobbing? And the victim, if you look, they are very high, yes, sometimes for female, under 30, when they are young, under 31 years of age mainly. Then there are a lot of publication made also by female surgeons. This was very, very nice paper written by Carmen published in 2017 on the European Journal of Surgery. And I think that one of the most important sentences was the scarcity of female role models and mentors, has also been discussed as a possible explanation for the underrepresentation of women in academic surgery. Even in the 21st century, the advancement of women into leading position of academic surgery and major surgical societies is still limited. An updated view of leadership development, the promotion of female surgeons in academic surgery, and identifying barriers for women entering in this field are crucial to correcting the existing gender inequities. So in my opinion, yes, the scarcity of female role models and mentors is important, but now I think the number of women in leading position is augmented. We have a full professor, we have associated professor as you, Carmen, and other colleagues as Annika, as Sabine Dundel, and I think also Steffi Meyer, but there are a lot of associate professors now that can help the young trainers and can support also as a mentor the young female surgeon in their career. And also I want to mention your very nice webinar that you hold on March 2024, and I will show also some of your slides that I think are very important for us. So this is a systematic review on women in surgery, a systematic review of 25 years of experience. The systematic review suggests that there are opportunities to improve and encourage women entering the profession of surgery, as well the quality of life for surgeons. But they also underline that it is important to create systems for mentorship across program, policy of support work-life balance, and recognizing surgical training overlap with childbearing years, a key opportunity for improvement. And this is another important paper published some years ago. The conclusion is that significant gender-based disparity was found in leadership position and academic rank. So I think that all the paper published underline the disparity. And if we look at the disparity, I want to mention your webinars that I followed, and I found very interesting that if you look also the publishing trend in the Journal of Pediatric Surgery, Pediatric Surgery International, and European Journal of Pediatric Surgery, we found that in 30 years, there are plus 25% first and 76% 17 last, and only 50% of moderator and speaker. And also, if we look also the gender diversity in national and international pediatric surgery society, there are really a big disparity, and I think that this disparity has to change. And we have to work in this change to change this percentage in a significant way, especially if we look also to the academic gap, and this is really impressive. We have more female as a student, as degree, as a postdoc, we have almost the same, and then our rate will decrease from assistant professor and professor. So this is really a very important gap in academic role. The same is female leader. So if you look after the board, the leading position will be reduced compared to men. And also this disparity in the literature led also to Thieme to encourage female surgeons to publish on the European Journal of Pediatric Surgery. This was something that was published by Thieme in June 2024, and I think it's they also recognize that there was this big difference. If we look to the opportunity to go to the operative room, this was an article made by Gaia Spolverato. Gaia Spolverato was trained in the USA. She was member of the Association of Women Surgeon in USA, and then she founded the WIS, the Association of Women Surgeons in Italy. And if you look, 36% of patients abandoned the operative room, and they doesn't have any surgical procedure. 33% would like to spend more hours. And I remember when I became, many years ago, it was now about 20 years ago, vice president of the Italian Society of General Surgeons. So there was an article written by a famous neurosurgeon in Milan who wrote that female surgeons may be able to attend outpatient clinic, but not the operative room. And I wrote to Corriere della Sera back that this is really wrong and is due to the habit of women that didn't allow the female to go to the operative room. And I reported my successful experience as a surgeon, and so there was a long debate on the journal about this disputation. But I want to also to mention this article, which was published also on The Guardian, not only on the scientific literature, that female surgeon has better outcome for the patient. So this is very important. That means that female surgeons are good surgeons, especially with new technology. And I think that new technology helped us a lot, because minimally invasive surgery, because robotic surgery can help us to perform, easier the procedure. When I was a young trainer, and I was obliged to do 5 years of general surgery first, I had to retract heavy, to retract very heavy patient for hours and hours. And when we finished it, there was some emergency, and we had to go again to the operative theater. And I can say I am tired. It was a forbidden word. So I was never tired, even if I was tired. And when the mini-invasive surgery developed, I think female surgeons were very talented in this field. So I think technology is helping us. And another interesting, chart is this women in pediatric surgery. They were able also to present an article at WoEUPSA and also to publish this work on the European Journal of Pediatric Surgery. The conclusion of this paper that they present was that 23% of female pediatric surgeons spend time on scientific activity. Unpaid scientific work during extra time outside of regular working hour was common, with difference between both genders. So these, and also funding for scientific congress participation was inadequate for women. So this is a very important work that they did. And also another important, speaking about funding, another important aspect that you underline is that female doctor earns less than male doctor. In surgery, maybe they earn less because they don't devote, in my opinion, times to private practice. So men are very focused on private practice. They spend more time than we can spend because maybe we have more attention for family, for children's care, and we decide not to devote a lot of time to private practice. But if we look to this paper, who was written by an Italian surgeon, general surgeon, he said that the future of surgery will be female, because now the majority of trainees inscripted at the Italian School of Surgery, all the type of surgical school are female. In general surgery, there are more than 60%. In pediatric surgery, in obstetrician and gynecology, they have less in neurosurgery and orthopedics. So what will be the new figure of pediatric surgeon? In great percentage women, specialists with a specialist surgical address, that mean a sectorial surgery, mini-invasive surgery. They may have a different organization of the surgical work, less all-encompassing hourly commitment, and they need to have a support for maternity and parenting, possibly with nursery in the hospital and other kind of facilities. And also of modification on pregnancy permit times. Why I wrote this sentence? Because if you look through Europe, there are different habits, and sometimes they are too rigid. Sometimes, for example, in Italy, you can't go back to the operative theater not before 1 year after delivery. It's too much. It's too much, in my opinion. It's too much. It's very different from the USA, but it's too much. I think you can have the chance to modulate our choice according to our personal condition, according to our needs. So my suggestion is that it is necessary to have a more flexible solution, which allow women to maintain surgical activity during pregnancy and during integration, the postpartum period, if they can. It's not a must, if they can, and if they want. In Europe, there are systems of facilitation for women doctors, but not in all the European countries. For example, not in Italy. They are in France. And if we look to if we look to the number of newborn in Italy, the number of newborn is dropping down due to this situation. And not only for doctors, but for all women. In France, the situation is different. They maintain a good percentage of natality. Also, the number of female surgeons is growing rapidly. There are often single women without children, or fewer children than the remaining population of female doctors. And we have to develop a mentorship and support for young trainees and women surgeons in reaching their goal in surgical, scientific, academic, and personal life. And I would like to suggest some advisable step for WoEUPSA. I know that you are better than me. You are younger, and I believe that young people are better. But I think first step is to have knowledge of the number of female EUPSA members. I asked to our accountant, and they wrote me that we have about 400 female members in EUPSA. That means that 39% of the members are female. It's not bad, it's good, in my opinion. We have to know the number of female surgeons in each European National Association. You have to ask, we have to ask. We have to know the number of female head of pediatric surgical unit in Europe, in the different countries. I had the number from Udo, but we had to ask to all the association to give us the number. And we have to know the number of professors of pediatric surgery in Europe, and also the name, as I showed you for France. Then the other step is communication. We have to create a network between female surgeons, and we are working on this, but we are working hard, and I have to congratulate with you. And support and mentoring, we have to involve the leaders in supporting and mentoring the other colleagues in many fields. I did this during my life. I trained a lot of female surgeons. Some of them has reached important position. I am sure that others will reach too. And we have to prepare statements. I know that we are working on. And we have to work to have a political recognition at the European community as member of EUPSA. So we need to have some, role in the political decision of the European community, because this is the only way to go to improve the condition of women surgeons in Europe. And I want to show I am very happy. I don't know if Maria is still there. There was a picture that I took with Sania and Maria, two nice colleagues. We were in Jerusalem here. These were three young, now they are surgeons, and they were trained by me. We were in Limassol when I became president. This is Marta. All of you know Marta is my daughter. It's not my daughter, but I love her, and I am pushing her as much as I can. This is a nice picture of women surgeons that we took with Carmen in in Stockholm. Thank you, Carmen. And this was also another picture of female surgeon. There were also Andrea Bishop, and we were at the Colorectal Club in Bologna. So the number of female surgeons is growing, and the future is already today. And I want to thank fantastic WoEUPSA. I want to thank all of you. I put just the picture of the most of the people that I know and with whom I discuss more frequently, but I know that you are so many today, and 81 participants, much more people registered, and I want to thank you, and I want to say that WoEUPSA is a fantastic reality, and I am sure that you will be able to go on. I would like to support you as I can, but I am sure that all the women surgeon leaders are very happy, very glad to help in this new adventure. Thank you very much.
Wow, fantastic talk, Giovanna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Giovanna. It was inspiring. It was very powerful. And now we would like to hear from you about questions that you have directly.
20 chat.
Yes, from to Giovanna. When you're preparing while you're preparing your questions, I might start to ask Giovanna a question. Giovanna, you mentioned, you've met so many very impressive female pediatric surgeons along the way. And I would like to know, what advice would you give to female surgeons that are currently finding themselves in an unfavorable environment? You mentioned, maybe somebody that realizes she doesn't get as much as exposed to the operating theater as her male colleagues. So, in such an environment, what advice, what are action steps that this individual, could take right away in such a situation?
So it depends. I think it depends a little bit. If the situation is really against women, my suggestion is to leave it to find another place of work. It can be a very strong answer, but when I was a student at 20 years of age, I decided who can accept me as a surgeon. There were no women surgeon in my city at that time. So I decided to go to someone who had an open mind. So if you are working with people who are not an open mind, they will not change. So that's my opinion. But if the situation is not so frustrating, it just is the need to have more space, to be more recognized, to have more opportunity. So I think you have to ask to your chief, and you can ask also some support from someone else. For example, I can call my colleague, my male colleague, and say, well, you have some female, you have a female, she would like to do, she is not supported, she is not pushed as the man to perform to realize her career. Why? So this could be something, that can can give a reflection to a chief who is a male, for example. The other things is to try to develop some relationship, also scientific relationship, with other female surgeons. You can participate to some survey, you can participate to some multi-center study, and so you can improve the quality of your competence and to demonstrate that you are able to do much more than they think. Another advice that I used to give to the young doctors, the young surgeons, the trainers, is that if you would like to have children, I think it's better to have children when you are young, not to wait the end of your training period, and you have to try to organize yourself, and it's better to have children early, because if you think that first of all I have to I want to have a stable place, I want to become I want to gain first a degree of surgeon. You postpone always, and sometimes you will not have any child. I am unlucky. I wasn't able to have children, but then I followed a girl who is a sort of daughter. Is a niece more than a daughter. But I think that one of the reasons was to postpone. I have seen in France they used to have children early. And this is very good for their career. For example, I met Sabine Sarnaki when she was an intern at first choice. So she was very young. She has already children, and she had the opportunity to have a very brilliant career after. The same for Hélène Martelly, and I think also Claire Fekete has children very early. So my suggestion is this one. Then in all the department, especially for trainer, we in Europe are obliged to assure a certain number of surgical procedures. And we have a book where a web book where the procedure are reported. So today I think that the chief can't refuse the surgical experience to a trainee.
Thank you so
Giovanna.
much, Giovanna. I just wanted to say, so basically what I also hear is that the more the training in a country is also really regulated, right? That
Yes,
there are
yes.
requirements, uniform requirements, doesn't matter which
Yes,
training place you are.
In Europe, we have the same system for Europe.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your
Thank
honest
you.
reply. Carmen, you wanted to.
No, I just wanted to remind everybody that you are free to write your questions in the chat. And while you're thinking about your questions, I would like also to, we like to multitask with women, right? So for those of you who are not yet a member of Women at EUPSA, you can scan the QR code in the upper part. But we are also members of the network office. So me and Elke would like to multitask in this webinar and make advertisement for the gastrostomy survey that is currently taking place within the network office. So it is the QR code in the bottom. And also if you have any suggestions for further webinars, suggestions for speakers, please email us to the email in the bottom, women@eupsa@gmail.com. That's all I wanted to say.
Perfect. And I would like to add, you know, we are currently in the process of the EUPSA Connect mentorship program to prepare for the final matching. We have like more than 70 mentors and we have more than 80 mentees. And now it's coming to the crucial step of matching. And so I wanted to remind everybody who hasn't already filled out the questionnaire with their preferences, please fill that out so that we can start the matching as early as possible. And that means we can also really start with our one-on-one mentorship program. That should also really be a great opportunity for females to get more chances also of having mentorship throughout their career. So thanks for that. Do we have any
Some
questions?
important news from Germany. Andrea Schegmindi said that 40%, more than 40%, 41 pediatric surgeons are female, 58% part-time, and the president of the Barbara Luvidowski, yes, that knows she is in Hanover, I think. Okay.
I think
So-
it's very valuable
But
that
I think you can collect some more precise and detailed information that I tried to collect through our colleague in EUPSA, so our member of the executive board. But
Mhm.
okay.
I wanted to say it's very I think important that we share this information, these
Yes.
numbers about all the countries, also really on our landing page on our website, so that everybody has access to it. And I would like to encourage everybody, please. I've seen in the chats that of course there are very prominent personalities that we haven't had a chance to mention in the talk, and maybe we are not so aware of them because they are not so frequent maybe visiting conferences. So please make us aware of really prominent female surgeons that are that we should all know about. And yeah, please let us know about that so that we can also more and more educate ourselves about, our female colleagues.
There is a nice sentence from Zacharias, just for the historical reason, in the WoEUPSA, yes, in the 70% of doctors were women. The reason was that the work of a doctor was considered of low productivity. Unfortunately, this image is still in the mind of some. I hope that the effort of the group will change this image. But I want to mention that when I went to my old professor of surgery at the age of 20, asking, what do you think if a young girl would like to become a surgeon? So he said to me, why not? In Russia, he said, I have met a lot of female surgeons. And in my operative room, I have excellent scrub nurses, and sometimes worse men assistant. So, and he gave me the opportunity to start the training in surgery. But this is true. In the old wars, in the old Russia, the majority of doctors and a big number of surgeons were female, but they were not well recognized.
We have a question here from Sayoya in Spain. She wonders, even if you have achieved almost everything within your career, do you think the glass ceiling effect has affected you in your career?
The
That
glass,
you can achieve the glass ceiling effect, that even if you have been the head of the department and professor, but do you think that the fact that there were so few women in leadership positions, can that have effect negatively on your
No,
prospect?
no. I have to say no, because there was some curiosity. And I have to say that no, I was always well recognized. The only problem was the power in the association. That is, if you are few in the board, or if you are not part of the board of the different surgical association, you have no power. And for the EUPSA, it was, I have to remember, Michael Allward. Michael Allward decided that women has to be involved more in EUPSA. So he proposed me to become secretary, honorary secretary, and then he advanced my candidature as first female president. But and I was supported also by Prem, but I have to say that Michael was always an open mind also in this field. Elke, I think, can remember him. He had also a high consideration of you, Elke. So, but I think we have not to wait someone who is an open mind and decide that it's time for women. When I became a vice president of the General Society of the Society of General Surgeons in Italy, was the same. Was Professor Melotti, who was an open mind, good surgeon, who asked me to become vice president. But he was also one who trained a lot of female surgeons, and now he had a success. A female took his place also as chief of a surgical department in Modena. So, but I think we have to ask, because we are good. We are good. We are competent, and so it's time to take the power that we have to have.
Well, we must say we have a very supportive president at the EUPSA at the moment, who is actually participating in the webinar.
Paolo is a super open mind. Super open mind. So he is very supportive. He has a lot of good ideas. I love him. So I have to say that he is really Paolo.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Paola.
Is really, we have the chance to have him, and but we have to ask to have more women in the board, new women, another woman president of EUPSA.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Paolo. Thank you for joining the meeting, the webinar.
Thank you, Paolo.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just signed to say, of course, that EUPSA is completely supportive of this initiative, and I really need to congratulate Carmen to have initiated all, and Elke and everybody involved. And I think there was no better opening than the talk of Giovanna. I think that was fantastic, Giovanna. Your support towards EUPSA and towards the women in surgery has been really strong for all the years before it became a fashion to do so, much before. And I must say, as a surgeon, I've been fortunate to be trained to work and to share my work with female colleagues. And I've always been impressed by the determination and the ability. So I'm personally very supportive, but I just want to bring the support of EUPSA and to congratulate for these initiatives. I don't want to take more time on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paolo.
Thank you to you, Paolo, for your support and for all the important work that you are doing for EUPSA and for the whole community.
I would like to have one more question to you, Giovanna. It came up in the chat, and I think it's always an interesting one. Let's imagine you could meet your younger self at the age, I would say, of 30, let's say 30 years, because at that time we already know what we want in life. What advice would you give this younger version of yourself from your now perspective, from given all your the experience and that you made?
I think I will do the same that I did. That means because I loved surgery and I decided to become not a doctor but a surgeon. So I think I will do the same that I did. But I have spent some time of training abroad, and I think this is very important for young people. But what I would like to do, if it is possible, because you have to consider also your personal condition, relationship, to have children, to try to have children early. That is is the only thing that sometimes is en français on dirait I regret. I regret. Not because I think that I was not able to have children, maybe because I waited a lot, too much, not a lot, till 35, and then in the meantime I had some health problem. So I wasn't able later. But I would like to just not to think only to my surgical career, but also to the quality of my family life.
Thank you so much for sharing
So
this.
in my generation, I am 71. So in my generation, as Gesina Menardi, as other people, it was difficult to adapt the surgical activity with the familial, with the family, with children and family. Many of them had some negative affective experience. I am divorced. The other ladies that I saw are mainly divorced, and at our time it was not so frequent to divorce. So that means that our job was really an obstacle to our personal life, and because we had to spend time, we have to work more hard than men. So we had to demonstrate. I had to demonstrate that I was as good as men, maybe better than men, to have the same opportunity. So we were obliged to work hard, and there was also some concern about us when we were young. People thought that we were just a young, lovely girl, but not that we can't become good surgeon. But at the end, we were able to do our job.
Absolutely.
As well as we can't, but as we could. But I think we were able to God. But now it's different. Now it's different. You may have a better perspective, and the younger has to have a better perspective.
Yeah, but still a long way to go, as you show with your numbers.
Yes.
Thank you so much once again, Giovanna.
Thank you to you. It was an honor. I enjoyed a lot. And see you in the next webinar.
Definitely. And thank you everybody for participating and being so sharing your thoughts and your own experiences in the chat. Thank you so much to my co-moderator, Elke, Zani,
you, Carmen.
And thank you so much to our wonderful Gaia who make all this possible, always behind the scenes. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Gaia.
Bye, Gaia.
And, we see you all in the next webinar. Please email us suggestions with topics, names, and anything that you would like for us to get involved in. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you to you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Have a
Bye,
nice
everybody.
evening.
See you next time.